Hey, what's up guys? My name is Moda and welcome back to the Mining Stacker YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be our monthly ASIC pricing update video. This is going to be for May 2024. And in this series, what we do is we look for deals essentially. We're looking for any of those price deviations. We're looking for trends. Are things going up? Are things going down? Just so we can stay on top of things and get those deals for the ASICs we are looking for if you are in the market for them. Okay? So if that sounds good, guys, stay tuned. Let's get to this thing. So we'll start off by taking a quick look at the market and look at Bitcoin, because again, Bitcoin dictates essentially the rest of the market, right? A lot of times where the sentiment is going to dictate whether we're going up or down, going sideways, etc., etc. So currently, kind of at a standstill, borderline bearish, which is kind of crazy because again, we're at 68K, had a bunch of crazy news just this past week alone, right? We had Donald Trump being pro-crypto, everybody joining in, regulation getting passed, these big companies investing into these Bitcoin ETFs, pension funds, other companies, lot of extremely insanely bullish adoption news, yet the overall sentiment is still somewhat bearish, right? Which again, it's pretty crazy, but that's kind of where we're at. I think more than anything is just undecided where we're going to go here in the short term, right? And everything's borderline bullish because as we look at on the 24-hour, there are a lot of alts and again a lot of memes. Memes have been the thing, right? And it's kind of crazy because there's so many now, even in like the top 100 now. It's getting pretty nuts to the point where it's just like, the hell is going on? But it is bringing adoption. That is what's going to bring more of the normies in. That's just how it goes, right? So that's why I'm saying it's kind of weird because Bitcoin is people are kind of bearish on it, but memes are pumping, certain alts are pumping, and currently everything's kind of looking prime for a potential altcoin season, right? Bitcoin dominance is currently going down. It's down like 52.4%, which it had been in the 55, 56% for quite a bit. So things are kind of interesting. We'll see where we go from here. There's potential. We do get some updates. Consensus, which is one of the bigger shows of the year, is going on starting tomorrow. So don't be surprised to see some pretty big bullish news from any of these major coins causing a potential increase in prices, right? Sometimes even just bullish news for one coin can be the beginning of something else, right? We saw that last fall with Solana, with Breakpoint. Breakpoint is what started this whole uptrend. If you guys forgot, back in October, that's when things were bearish. Breakpoint happened. A lot of news came out for Solana, a lot of bullish news, and that kind of just started everything. Okay, so who's to say that doesn't happen here? And this is kind of a bigger deal because this is a lot of projects are going to be there. Not a lot of projects, a lot of speakers, a lot of things going on, a lot of hardware manufacturers. Bitmain's going to be like, it's a big deal, right? So hopefully we do get some news there. Maybe prices will go up. We'll see. But keep those things in mind as we go through. So we'll see what happens this week. It's going to be nuts, bros. So let's look at profitability. For the most part, it's the same old thing. Kaspa miners on top. The only deviation is the AL box did go down a bit. And it's not because of yield going down. It's just Alium itself going down. Right, so currently the yield is about the same, but currently it's down to 33 bucks for that little AL box. The kaspa miners, kind of a tricky one, and this is why I always say to focus on the yield. So profitability numbers are almost identical, even with the yields going down a pretty good chunk, right? So this is kind of the thing where I say it's important to focus on the yield. So currently for like the KS5 Pro, for example, for the big dog, it's down to 667, when last month it was like 800 and change, okay? And even just a few weeks ago, right? We had a pretty big surge in the overall hash rate, which is what's causing that. It's probably those KS5Ls that people pre-ordered months ago got in hand these past week or so, and they're continuing to come in hand, so it's just going to continue to go up. But the fiat profitability has stayed the same just because Kaspa did appreciate a little bit. It's currently about 14 cents, right? So it's not that it's misleading, but that's what I say, focus on the yield, right? That should be your biggest indicator more than anything. For the most part, everything else is hovering in the same range. The only one that I've been tracking closely that's kind of getting a little squirrely is that Kadena miner, the KA3. It's currently down to $1.40 a day. The price action has not been too great, especially considering the massive increase in hash rate we have been having. But currently, because of this, right, people are starting to unplug just because Kadena's price action. So the yield has actually gone up about 10%. And that's because the hash rate went down about 10%. So in a sense, if you're already mining it, this is kind of a good thing. Again, for my strategy, break even or better, I want to see this. If anything, the profitability can continue to tweak down a little bit. More people can unplug. Potentially the yield goes up, right? So this is kind of that dynamic we're playing here. But another benefit is that it just decreases the likelihood of more people buying these things, right? Which would continue to increase the hash rate, decrease overall yield. Okay, so I kind of suck seeing that, but again, it just depends on your strategy. Like mine, it's break even or better. Again, whether it's making $1.40 a day, 50 cents a day, 10 cents a day, or 15 to 20 bucks a day, I'm mining and hodling for 2025. Okay, so if we're still in this price range and like spring 2025, then I'll be a little bit worried. But currently, as weird as it sounds, this is realistically a little bit more ideal, at least right now, just because again, the hash rate did go up so much after that last pump. Remember December? We're like $1.30, $1.50. A lot of people bought them, and a lot of people are kind of regretting it now because it did retrace back down to the 75, 80 cent level, right? Which is why we are at where we are at, right? So we'll continue, but again, that's just one of those dynamics you got to follow, and hopefully it kind of starts making more sense. I know I mentioned that with like the K7 and all these other things, where I'm kind of would have hoped that we didn't have those gigapumps now, just because it would have given us more time to accrue, right? So it is what it is. At the end of the day, it's not a bad thing either, because that just gives us more, you know, I guess hopefully you could say hopium for 2025, right? The fact that we did pump so hard that even with Kadena that it did go to $1.50, that does give us more hopium for 2025, right? So let's get on to some of these freaking prices. And the biggest deviations this month, just to kind of preface, were the Hype ASICs and the BTC miners, right? So we'll start off with Gold Shell, the freaking AO box, which just continues to go down. Okay, so remember when this thing came out? 15K, 14K, 11K, and a few weeks later, we're down to 6,400 for in stock. This is spot. This is not a pre-order. The pre-order is a whopping $200 discount, which do not do it. It's up to you if you think there's value there. I've done my review. You guys know my thought on this. And to me, it's a definite no-go, even at this price, especially not at freaking over 10K, which was freaking ridiculous. But to me, even at this price, it just doesn't make sense. A lot of it just has to do with, it's just extremely likely, guys, that we are going to get an Alium ASIC that is going to demolish this thing and demolish the hash rate probably fairly soon. We'll have a little bit more clarity actually in less than a month, right? We have a lot of big shows. Again, Bitmain will be a consensus. There's a possibility they do make an announcement there. We're going to have Bitmain's WDMS coming up, and then Mining Disrupt all within the next few weeks. Okay, so if something is in the near term, it's probably going to get announced there, right? So I'm going to definitely be watching those shows. I will probably be attending some of those shows. I'm working on the details here. So definitely going to be exciting time for a lot of these ASICs. But again, you got to be careful with these hype ASICs, because again, they're just based on hype, right? So we saw the action here, and then we also saw it. So again, it's not just the N hash reducing the price. It's all the stores, all the vendors, all the suppliers, right? So even like Miner Bros, which again is on the higher end, they're at $7,600 for spot, and then $6,900 for the June batch. Okay. The other one, which we've talked extensively about, so I'm not going to talk too much about it, is the KS5 from Bitmain. And again, it's just a massive, massive drop, going from 30K to 11K. And it's pretty much all over, although this one is slowly trickling up couple $100, and it's just because kaspa is slowly creeping up. Okay, so this is one thing you do got to watch. Like, that is the current pre-order price, but if kaspa does slowly start upticking, we do have an uptick in the market, expect this to go up, right? This doesn't mean that it's going to be 11K all the way through August. It's gonna gradually creep up as the price of kaspa goes up, right? Even with the profitability going down. So as we had mentioned, the profitability has been going down on these kaspa ASICs just because we're now hit that 300 petahash level. and it's just going to continue to go up, right? So even though the yield is going down, if kaspa's price continues to go up, don't be shocked to see this thing go creep up to 12K, 13K, 14K, etc., right? Especially because Ice River, they haven't given us the prices yet. We're going to have to wait for those new announced models, the KS5M and the KS0 Ultra, but indicators are kind of saying that it's not going to be very aggressively priced. Currently, the KS5L is still in the same price range. Again, they do have that different variants. I did start seeing some of the other resellers start listing a 9 terahash variant also. Okay, it seems like that's how the discount will be. So instead of reducing the price on these bigger miners, most likely it does seem like, because the 9 terahash units, some of them have it listed for under 9K. They had them for like around $8,000. So maybe that's kind of how they're slowly trickling to lower the price. And again, my prediction is they're kind of rolling the dice, hoping that kaspa's price does go up before those Bitmains drop, right? So they're trying to avoid matching Bitmain's price currently, right? So we'll see if the strategy plays off, but realistically, we'll know more this coming weekend when they're supposed to announce officially the price of the KS5M and the KS0 Ultra. Okay, so we'll definitely be watching for that. We'll see, especially if there is a massive decrease. If it's in line with the estimates, I'll mention it. I don't know if I'll necessarily dedicate a video to it, but if it's a pretty significant price difference, then I'll definitely do an update on it. Let's continue down. So this is kind of interesting. I don't know if it's giving us insight into potentially maybe they heard something with the L9, but notice this on a couple resellers, and notice that Cool Dragon actually also had it listed that futures orders for the DG1 Plus, which again, this is the expensive model. The number one, there's different variants. There's now a 13.8, a 14 gigahash, as well as a 14.4. Okay, so 3 different variants. The standout here is that some of the future orders are at a pretty decent discount. Okay, so they have the September batch, which they're currently out of their spot allocation, it seems like. They have September down to $7,600, which is a pretty big discount from the currently nearly 12K to 13K that some places have it listed at. So anywhere from like 10 to 12K is this price range. That's pretty significant. Obviously, the farther out you go, it gets cheaper. December down to 6,200, which again, this is extremely far out. 7 months is pretty ludicrous. September is bad enough, but this is a pretty massive discount. Is it because they're hearing word on the grapevine that the L9 might come in a little bit cheaper? Or are they trying to undercut Bitmain's announcement? We don't know, but it's a good deal, but in a sense, it kind of sucks if anybody did just buy any of these, right? Because I know a lot of people got pissed when the DG1 Plus was announced. A lot of people bought that DG1, and then not too long after the DG1 Plus got announced, which they would have probably in certain cases rather have gotten the bigger guy. And then people did like, oh, okay, cool. And they ordered the bigger guy. And now in freaking 3-4 months, the price is going to get a pretty big reduction. Kind of a weird type to me. They kind of maybe should have waited. I don't know. It's kind of weird. But again, maybe it's because they got a heads up as to the L9 price. We'll find out when that thing gets officially announced. But pretty attractive prices. The advantage here, although it does suck, the thing is you'd be able to lock in the price, right? Let's say we start getting appreciation starting like late July into August, you know, Doge starts running up to like 20, 25 cents. You're already locked in, right? So that would be the advantage of doing that, right? So would I personally order something that far ahead? No, and if I were to, it'd have to be from definitely an extremely reliable store, right? So I'd say that Cool Dragon isn't. They actually have been around. They are one of the longer places, but I would probably order more from... I personally had a good experience ordering from BT miners. So them I would feel comfortable with. Maybe like Miner Bros and stuff. I know they are more expensive, but more for the peace of mind factor, especially with that much of a heads up, right? A month or two is one thing, but once you're getting into like 4+ months, that is a pretty extreme wait, right? Especially for that kind of cash. Okay, so just kind of interesting. We'll see what the dynamics are here. We'll see. I think realistically, everybody's waiting for that L9 price. Okay, maybe again, this is their way to rectify it. Maybe their way to undercut them, I guess. We'll find out here fairly soon, hopefully. So let's get on to some of the deals. These are some of the other ones, and it's mainly BTC miners are the only deviation. So these slowly have been trickling down. Okay, so there are now more variants of the T21. There is now a 180 and a 186. The 180 is down to $25.69. So this is not shipped, so it'd be about $2,800 shipped, right? So it did go down a little bit, not a ton. It used to be 28.70 something, so it went down a couple $100, right? So give or take about 10% from last month, which is a reduction. Was it worth it to wait? Because I know a lot of people were thinking, we're going to get wrecked after the halving. In this case, sure, I would have, again, rather maybe have gotten it prior to the halving, just to take advantage of the pre-halving yields. To each their own. The Altair Tech, shout out to them. They actually do have a fully configured kit now, right? So they also do sell the components, so you can convert it. They also do have the option to buy one straight up outright. So it already has that 240 volt power supply, because again, the other one is 3-phase. This one already has it converted for you, has the little cover, has everything installed. It's essentially ready to go. It already has aftermarket firmware actually also, and for about the same price, right? So it's about $32.39. So again, they are taking out the factory PSU, they're swapping it out. They're keeping that PSU though, right? So that's kind of what's going on here, is that they're keeping that one and they're giving you a PW, was it 12 is the one for these? Yes, swapping with APW 12, yes, which is the 240 volt, which is the single phase. So kind of interesting, pretty cool, another good option there. The S19K Pro, so there were rumors that they were discontinuing it, and it does seem like it may be happening. So Nhash does have it as sold out for the lower end model, right? They have the 115s and the 120s. The 110 did sell out at the $12.69 price, which I think was only like $10 lower. Last month it was $12.79. So again, that was kind of our prediction, that chances are the lower end guys probably weren't going to drop too much. If anything, the only one that would make it a discount would be the more expensive ones, just because there is more room for them to go down. Realistically, even right now with BTC profitability being essentially break even, the prices are holding up, and I don't see them going down a whole lot, considering the worst is kind of here. Well, again, we'll see. Maybe we do have another big correction sometime between now and the next 5-6 months. Realistically, it doesn't seem like it. With all the news going on, it's very, very hard to be like very bearish on it, right? So there are things in the news cycle going on that can cause something though, but as far as being like a sustained long-term downtrend, we know the worst is, a lot of it's behind us, right? It's really hard considering that we're literally months away from potentially, if things go as planned, or as, not necessarily as planned, but as previous cycles have gone, then we're not too far away from the bullish action, right? So that's that guy. The S21 did go down a bit, so it's down to about 3,600 shipped. So it is a little bit better. Again, another $200 savings on this one. This is for the lower end model, though. This is for the 188. This is not the 200. This is the 188. So a little bit of savings there. As we go down, Altair Tech did lower theirs as well. So they have the 188 $38.49, so pretty close to that price. Again, you're not paying $250 for shipping with these guys. It's fairly reasonable. And this is the S21 Pro. It's about the same price. I don't think this one's gonna drop too much, because again, this one's gonna have a premium because it's the best, right? So this one, again, I don't think it's gonna go down too much lower. This may be about what it is. One interesting thing to note, so it is a render, but if you go on the Bitmain's main website, or even on Altair Tech, they're using the same pictures now. So there's a pretty big difference, right? So if you look at the control board, number one, the area up here, you can kind of see here how slimmed down it is. It looks like a little screen next to it. Don't really care about the screen. What's interesting here is look at the size of the fans in comparison to the PSU. Notice how it is so much taller than where the PSU fans are. Okay, typically the cutoff is right here, and it runs exactly along with it. Notice how those go so much above and beyond it. It does appear as though there are going to be bigger fans on this S21. Okay, and the maybe 140s, it looks like, potentially. But if you look at it, this is most likely the same S21 PSU. You can see how much higher. As a matter of fact, you can see another ridge here, right? The other one, let's look at it. You can see here that it goes along with the PSU, and you can see here these little ridges here. There is only the two, versus in that guy there is now a third notch because it goes so much above, beyond it, right? So pretty interesting there. It's hard to really say also because it is a render, but comparing it, it does look like they are going to be beefier fans, right? So it looks like potentially 140s, some different size. So again, potentially more wattage, different connectors. If you're like me and use those AC Infinity fans, there is going to be a different configuration for this. So just something to consider. Might be something better though, because again, the S21s, and again in the hot climates, hasn't been holding up too well. So this is probably a response to that, which is kind of interesting. We're going to hopefully see them here live pretty soon. Some of the vendors are showing potential like June, July releases, right? So initially it was like Q3, Q4, but they're starting to show allocations for June, July. So chances are we may see this thing in person here in this coming month, right? WDMS, Mining Disrupt, chances are it's going to be the in-live debut of this guy, right? So pretty cool stuff there. So that's pretty much it for this month, guys. Again, the main deviations were those hype ASICs just going down pretty significantly, and the BTC ASICs. So yes, they did go down post-halving. It's kind of what we're expecting. I didn't really expect a whole lot. Realistically, was it worth the wait, worth the risk, worth the gamble? Not really. I think you were better off getting those pre-halving yields. But yet again, who freaking knows? Maybe something happens. Maybe a lot of stuff can happen. I'm not going to talk about the global events that are kind of going on, but a lot of stuff can happen there. We'll see where price goes. We'll see if we continue bullish or even if we just go sideways. I don't see these things deviating a whole lot just because, again, we're so close to hopefully the bullish action, right? So again, I think the big thing for this coming month and what I'm excited is for these new announcements, right? Because we are hopefully going to get official news on the L9. We'll see this guy in life, maybe an Alium ASIC. That's kind of what I'm really hoping for. I'm really hoping for a big shake up there, right? So hopefully we will get some more announcements. So a lot of exciting stuff coming up, guys. This next month is going to be pretty cool. Hopefully we do get some big announcements, right? And it's just from those guys. Who's to say that we don't get announcements from the other manufacturers? Because again, Mining Disrupt, it is a big event. WDMS is a big event. They typically want to showcase, and they know this is kind of one of the last hurrahs before the bullish action coming up, right? So just wanted to keep you guys updated. Let me know if you guys are interested in any of these things. I know I'm definitely trying. It's hard, right? I'm in the position where I am pretty convinced it's gonna be another ASIC. Not 100%. It's hard because now I'm even almost considering selling. I don't know. It depends. If I get another one, most likely I will be selling one, maybe two of the ASICs. Maybe not at the moment. Maybe I'll wait until the other one comes. I don't really know. I'm freaking all over the place. But realistically, I'm definitely waiting for these announcements. I'm waiting for WDMS. I'm waiting for Mining Disrupt, which is kind of hard. I'm hoping things stay kind of bearish, actually. Yes, we all want to see price go up, but I don't want these prices to skyrocket before those announcements, right? So like the KS5 is one I'm super eyeing, and I'm gonna feel pretty shitty if the L9 is like 25K and the Lithium ASIC is 50K, so they're well out of my price range, and then kaspa pumps, and now the KS5 is like 15 grand or 20 grand or something again. It's like it's the risk of waiting, right? So at this point, we're literally a pump away, or even right now, it's like I could be investing that money into another coin while prices are still good. I'm kind of super torn, right? So this is definitely my limit for making up my choice is going to probably be like WDMS or probably Mining Disrupt because it's like a week or two after, right? So hopefully we do get some good announcements. Hopefully, I know it sounds kind of weird, but hopefully we do continue sideways or go down a little bit, at least until after that. After that, then do whatever you want, but let me buy my last bit of hardware before these pumps go up. Let me know what you guys are doing. Are you guys kind of the same boat? I know some of you guys did get on that KS5. So congrats to you guys. Congrats to you guys buying any hardware, right? It's, again, we're at the time, guys, where we are running out of time. I know I'm kind of feeling it a little bit. I'm kind of feeling antsy, but I kind of don't want to rush into anything either, right? Because again, any of the choices I make from here are going to be more for long term, especially the ASIC choices, right? GPUs, because everybody's so bearish on them. I feel like we're going to have still a little bit longer for cheaper prices. With the ASICs, though, we know how fast they go up, right? So we'll see what happens, guys. Keep me updated. Let me know what you guys are doing. Thank you for watching, guys. I seriously do appreciate it. Please comment, like, subscribe, guys, and I am out.